Hello, everyone, and welcome back to CLX Foundry Live. I'm your host, DJ Blue PDX, and joining me today, of course, from our Wichita studios, it is our lead technical expert, Paul Steffens, and our master builder, Zach Killingsworth. Now, I know that you all know that we're here on Kick Live, but we are also also simulcasting to our Twitch channel and to YouTube. So I'll be keeping an eye on all three chats and trying not to lose my mind. But in the meantime, which is a lot of fun. I mean, if I lose it, that could be entertaining for everybody. Now, with that being said, we've got a brand new build we're going to be doing today for our friend Chris in... No, it's not Chris. It is Gary in someplace.
Arizona.
There we go. My thing didn't update. So we kind of got a monster build today, guys. This is a little bit nuts. What's up?
Yeah. So
welcome in, chat.
This is a very high-end build right here. So starting out, we've obviously got our 011 and our raw print design here. Really like this. We used to do a lot of these on the show, and we've just been really busy. So it's nice to have another one coming through. But yeah, top of the line build here. So starting out, we've got an AMD Ryzen 9 7950X for our processor. To cool that, we've got the Fantex 360 Glacier 1. This is the newer model of Fantex, so we can talk a little bit about that when we get in there. For our motherboard, we've got the Asus ROG Crosshair X670E Hero. And for our memory, we've got 2 sticks of Corsair 32 gigabyte DDR5 6000 speed memory. It is the RGB in white. Those always look really good. For our storage, we've got a ton of storage on this build. So our main drive that we're gonna have the OS on is a 4 terabyte Seagate FireCuda 530. It's an NVMe M.2 drive. And then
that's what I have.
It's a really solid one. It's probably 4 terabyte in an M.2 is pretty awesome. But on top of that, we've got a 16 terabyte hard disk drive. So 20 terabytes of storage in this build. For our video card, we've got the PowerColor Radeon RX 7900 XTX. It's been a long time since we've had that model of video card on our show, and I think it's the first time me and Zach will have seen this Hellhound model. So excited to get that open.
Oh, nice.
For our fans, we've got 10 Thermaltake Ring RGB fans. These are the OG Ring fans right here. Always like seeing these. And then for our power supply, we've got a 1600 watt EVGA Supernova P2 80 plus platinum power supply. And going with that, we've got some black and red sleeved cables from Cable Mod.
Nice. All right, we've got this beautiful case. Obviously, it's an 011. Oh, look, Necro. We haven't seen you in a while. What's going on, dude?
What up?
So, and of course, if anybody in any chat feels like they have questions, please let us know. We will get to those questions as soon as possible. I'm going to keep an eye on all three of these things. So, with that being said, this obviously the 011. You've got those great hot swap bays in the top area, plus your the room for your power supply unit on the very bottom. You've got that separated venting. But the thing that I'm super excited about is this motherboard. This motherboard is wild, and while we may have, I just don't remember us doing it before. Although we have done a lot of motherboards before. But this is a ROG Crosshair X670E Hero. Now this is one heck of a top of the line motherboard. It's absolutely wild. I love the packaging too.
Yeah,
the packaging just looks grand. Yeah, so this is obviously got lots of bells and whistles. You've got your LED screens on the top and on that upper heat sink. You've got an incredible layering of heat sinks all the way around. Obviously, it comes with some pretty intense and incredible lighting, but it's the features on this board that are truly wild. So let's take a look. Oh, look at this. Is going to be so beautiful. You guys are going to love this. All right, let's take a look at that IO pattern right there. So at the very top, we've got our single HDMI. Obviously, we're not going to need that. We've got a powerhouse of a graphics card coming in today. You've got your 2 reset buttons at the very top. Coming down below, you've got 2 USB 4s. They are Type C. You've got 9 USB 3.2 Gen 2s, 8 Type A's, 1 Type C. You've got a USB 3.2 Gen 2x2, which is your 20 gig up and down, and that is the Type C down towards the bottom, along with an Intel 2.5 gig Ethernet port, Wi-Fi 6E, your optical SPDIF out, 5 gold-plated audio jacks, and this thing comes with Bluetooth 5.4, I believe. Yeah. So wild build this thing is. It's gonna be hella powerful. This guy's gonna be able to do a whole lot of stuff, and there's so many things in here. So I'm kind of excited to see where this goes. Is anyone having the stream bump in and out? Yeah, no, I've got it. It's stable for me. Yeah, if you're watching on mobile, that's a whole different story. Yeah. All right, now we're popping that processor in there. This is obviously an incredible processor. This is the AMD Ryzen 9. It's a 7950X 3D. This is a 4.2 gigahertz 16-core processor. Paul, what can you tell us about this processor, and why has this become so popular with high-performance machines?
Yeah, so this is top of the line AMD right here. Ryzen 9 7950X 3D. So this is a 16-core, 32-thread processor. It's got a base speed of 4.2 and a boost clock of 5.7. So something that's unique about this obviously is the 3D technology that AMD has started to use. It's a way of having the cache for the processor be stacked on top of the processor die, which gives you a bigger surface area, which can relate to more space for that cache. So very, very cool here. Yeah, like I said, top of the line.
Nice. All right, we're gonna get that in, get some thermal paste on that puppy. As far as our cooling, you mentioned this earlier. I'm loving this. This is a Fantex Glacier 1360 RGB AIO. This is the black version. This is the same as what I have, but only in a different color. It comes with its own thermal paste already on top of it, so we're just gonna get that mounted right on down. So Trash Panda, what's up, dude? I haven't seen you in a minute. Trash Panda 12 over on Twitch says, so I have an interesting question for the crew. I have an Alienware Aurora Rise R14, but the case is hella ugly. So do you sell a case that is big enough so I can fit my 3070 and the big ugly board on, or should I just make my own?
So yeah, we do have cases that, we have a lot of cases that can fit any size video card. So, you know, that is a thing we can do. Building one on your own sounds kind of cool though as well, so.
Definitely true. Definitely true. All right, we're gonna get that screwed on. While we're doing so, we're gonna get started with our fans. These are Thermaltake ring fans. Paul, tell us why we love these fans.
So I love these fans because these are like the OG with the ring around them. These are, as far as I know, Thermaltake was the first people to do it, and these are just solid performing fans. Before these RGB variants were out, you would buy these in whatever color you wanted. So you'd buy them either red, green, blue, orange, yellow, white. They had pretty much every color under the sun. And then obviously when RGB started to be really popular, they made an RGB version. So just really good performing fans here. We've got 10 of them in this build.
Nice. All right. Get our lighting for our cap put on. Wound in there. This is the Infinity Mirror cap, which looks really, really good. All right. Let's see here. The motherboard for Alienwares are like full tower cases. Oh yeah, there you go.
Yeah, the motherboard for that build is gonna be, I don't know for sure, but I know a lot of their components are specially like made. They're not like an MSI or an Asus or like a major brand name. So there might be some, you know, it might not fit in a standard case, but I don't know that to be true.
Yeah. Heedless TV asks, someone already bought this, or is this going to be ready to ship build? This is actually a customer's build. This is for Gary in Arizona. So, all right. Now, the black ones are going to be interesting because of the fact that the rings, the blades don't light up, the rings light up, and the blades reflect the light. So it's going to be very interesting seeing how these work, because I don't think I've seen these in black before.
Super clean.
Yeah, just a really, really clean look.
And you know, if I'm not mistaken, are those the same fans that are in those behind you, Paul?
And the systems up on the shelf?
Yeah, with the pink rings?
No, those are the Game DSA OLED fans up there, the M1s.
Oh, gotcha.
So
gotcha.
Before Game DS was lighting up the blades as well. That's what those ones are.
Let's see here. TLC J209 says, is a 3060 better than a 5700 XT?
That is a good question. So it's going to depend on your gaming application, obviously. And I'm not exactly sure how the 5700 XT compares to a 3060, although I'd probably go with the 3060 myself.
There we go. There we go. And yeah, Trash Panda says, I think it might just say, screw it, keep the kiddo the Alienware and buy a CLX. I've had nothing but issues with this thing. That would be rad. Honestly, let us know, man. We can, and the Halloween build case is available from customer service. If you guys just call over and be like, hey, I'd like that case.
We will definitely take care of you.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Once again, it's good to see you back, Necro. Glad things are going well. Greg Wiz in the house. Vex is here. Hanging out. We're getting these fans put in. Now, I always get these confused. And of course, my first thought when you said these are ring fans, right? Mm-hmm. I was thinking Halo fans, which are different.
Oh, yeah, those Fantex ones. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So let's see here. As my PC picks up dust so much, is there something that is a lot quicker? Quicker as in fans, or yeah, in reference to what? And while we're answering that, getting that question clarified, Uncut Chain asks, does motherboard support the 9+ fans, or are you using splitters?
So with these fans, and this is kind of how fans are starting to be nowadays, each fan company usually has their own fan controller box. So Thermaltake has these right here. So this is what we will be using to power our fans, and this is going to get power via SATA. So that's what's, this box is going to be supplied power directly from our power supply, and all of our fans will plug into here. Obviously, since we have 10 fans, these are 5-fan controllers, so we can chain them together. That way they're all controlled at the same time.
You can chain up to 20 of those boxes together.
20 of the boxes?
Yes.
Wow.
Wow, that's wild. So TLC clarified, cleaning it as I need to take panels off, as the screw is a bit broken, and it's freaking hard to try and take the side panels off. Oh, gotcha. Crazy Hot 666 says, if I want a PC, could you assemble it for me? I mean, we build all of our PCs in house anyway, so
bring it up here. We'll assemble it for you.
Yes.
If you're you make the drive to come see us, one of us will put it together for you.
Dude, that's awesome. That's super cool. I love that idea. Take a little road trip, go see the CLX peeps.
Yeah, we can go hit Taco Bell. It's right across the street.
I was going to say barbecue.
Yeah.
Little Kansas barbecue.
Woo!
All right, now coming up next is something that I am very familiar with, because this is actually what I use for my game drive, and this is a 4 terabyte C8 Fire CUDA 530 NVMe M.2 SSD. I love it. This thing performs like nobody's business. Everything is so fast. It's wild. So this is going to be a good one. Now, we've got a great heatsink on here. You can see the thermal pad down below. Zach, what are some things to keep in mind when you're installing an M.2 for the first time?
Yes, so depending on where it's going on the motherboard, we will want to make sure that we've peeled all of our thermal pads off, like the little plastic protection, to make sure that the heat will transfer proper. And then just kind of based on the spec of the NVMe, its location on the motherboard would be another importance. With most boards now, though, they are pretty much going to accept everything. Even like some starter motherboards are still going to have some pretty good parts on them to still be able to have like high-end NVMe's. Sorry, I'm trying not to stab myself.
That is important. Do not to make it bleed. Yeah, as far as the cleaning and taking the panels off, you can get new screws, but definitely vacuuming and dust spray would be great. The static-free spray. That's what I use. Now, granted, I don't have a fancy computer vacuum, which I know they have those. So I basically take my vacuum and put the hose right in front of the area, and then spray the dust and turn it on and try and suck the dust up out of the air without touching the actual PC. Although I've never had to do with this one. This one's still, this has been here how long, and there's still no dust inside of it, which is
beautiful,
wild to me, just wild. Forgot to turn off my notifications. Here we go. Now I'm less of a slacker. That's fun. Okay. Now, on top of that, obviously, is going down that big heat sink. That's going to help keep this cool. On the average, how hot can you or should you expect to your M.2s to get?
I don't even have a good temperature to give you. They don't get very hot.
Okay. Not unless you're like cooking it purposefully, like trying to get some numbers.
Yeah.
Do some dim next.
All right. And then up next, we're going to grab, I believe that is our RAM.
Yeah.
So this, of course, is two 32 gig sticks of Corsair DDR5 6000. This, I believe, is the fastest RAM that we carry so far.
Yes.
That is the exact, so it's total 64 gigs. That is exactly the same amount as I've got on my machine. Just, he's got it in 2 sticks, I have it in 4. Greg asks a great question here. What's the safe zone for CPU and GPU temps?
So that'll depend on your processor, but it's not uncommon now to see a CPU or GPU get up to 90C when you're gaming. So they get a lot hotter than what they used to. So if you've been building PCs for a while and you feel like those temps are cause for concern, it's starting to be kind of normal. So I would say if you get over 90, up to that upper 90s into 100, you know, maybe you want to start looking at something, making sure you've got thermal paste applied correctly and all that good stuff. But it's really not uncommon to see it get around 90 when you're gaming. Idle should be, you know, 50, 60 for sure.
Okay. And of course, there are ways to check your temperatures with either software or hardware. I've got a hardware screen on mine that shows me, but there's also a way to look it up on your PC. You can get those from usually. Where would be a good place to get those temp tools?
Oh, there's a whole bunch of options you can use. I think you know, you just Google one and pick one of your favorites.
Shasta brings up a good point. Shasta says, open a hardware monitor.
There you go. That's a good one.
That Trash Panda says, looks like I'm using my tax return for the new PC. Nice.
You want these ones in here, Zach?
Yeah.
These all right ones?
Yeah. Thank you.
Yep.
Perfect. Sick. Okay. I believe. Yeah.
If Noctua did RGB, I wouldn't need to buy these LED strips.
Okay.
I'll be honest, I'm not sure who Noctua is.
They're a well-known fan maker / you know, CPU coolers, that type of stuff. They put out some really quality stuff, and they're all in different shades of brown. Well, for 99% of their stuff is different shades of brown.
Why?
Don't know.
Why would that be a choice?
That's just,
it's
you don't really get a choice.
It's
You can get
wow.
like the black edition, and it's all black, but I think it's something they kind of built their brand off of, and they're just kind of known for now. So.
Gotcha. All right, now we're going to get this onto those standoffs. The standoffs do what? Now, how do you know you're on your standoffs?
So the standoffs separate the motherboard from the bottom of the case there. That way your motherboard isn't just laying on a piece of metal and could cause it to short out. So you want to make sure you've got standoffs in every one of those motherboard mounting holes that will show here right now. So those holes that have the silver solder lands around them, that's what we're talking about when we're saying motherboard mounting holes. So you just want to make sure you have a standoff through each one of those, and that's what your motherboard screw is going to screw into to secure this motherboard to the case.
Here we go. And yeah, we don't actually, Thank you, Ivory, for reminding me of that. We don't actually sell cases. Well, I mean, we sell cases with computers in them. But that's the only way to get one from us.
Yeah.
Yes. All right, getting that all screwed down there. As you can see, there's a little bit of a lip on this. The O11s have, as we've mentioned before, these is more of a 3/4 build. So the motherboard doesn't sit on the back of the device. It's actually got a large gap in behind there. You can see the grommets. They're going to be going back in for that wiring. And then you've got the pop-out plates on that rear section on the right side. Paul, what are those plates used for?
Yeah, so those plates are used to kind of seal off that area of the case. We will be taking those out in this build since we're going to have 10 fans. We're going to be mounting 3 extra intake fans right there. If we were doing a 7-fan configuration, we would just leave those plates there. You can also mount some hard drives or 2.5-inch SSDs to them as well.
All right. Now, here's the fun part, the cable mod kit. So let's check this out. This guy chose the reds and blacks. These look really, really cool.
They look great. This is the newer model of cable mod, so they've already got the cable combs on here. Maybe
nice.
So, yeah, let's go to overhead real quick, and I'll kind of show you these. So these just come already on the cable right here, and there's actually 3 of them. So you can spread these down kind of however you have them laid out in your system to keep those cables looking nice and neat and orderly.
And it comes with many of them. Now, it's interesting to note that not all cable mods fit every power supply.
That's right, yeah. You definitely want to make sure if you're buying a cable mod kit, make sure it's compatible with the power supply that you have. They do make a bunch of different kits for a bunch of different models, but obviously you want to make sure you get the one for the model of power supply you have so you don't short anything out or blow up your system.
Yeah. Absolutely. All right, get that turned around there. Yeah, Zach is definitely in the zone. So, as far as since now that we've gotten past Halloween, what is everybody excited to be playing here in the winter as we go in, getting towards Thanksgiving, moving into December?
WoW Classic Season of Discovery.
There we
go. WoW Classic again. Hooray.
Zach, you are, what are you playing?
Right now we're just playing Animal Crossing. Actually this weekend I started up a new playthrough of Dishonored on my computer.
Oh God, I love that game so much.
They took Far Cry 3 away from me, so I was a little upset about that.
They did? Like it's not available anymore, or like that's removed?
It won't let me play it without internet now. Like it was one of the games that I could play with no internet, but now it's saying it requires it. But I can still play Black Flag. Okay. So I also played a little Black Flag. Yeah. My thing with Black Flag is I fully 100%ed it the first time I played it, so it's very difficult for me to go back and be like, I can't do anything. My character sucks.
Yeah,
gotta spend so many
on
hours.
The Xbox, on the Xbox version of it, the 360 was when I played it, and it was wildly beautiful as a game goes. And you could actually help friends' fleets.
Yep.
Which actually really helped with getting money, leveling up all of your people. But I've been wanting to replay it again now that I'm with the new machine. Trash Panda says, "Wow, Cataclysm." There we go.
Yeah, I
Cali
like
Buds,
Dishonored.
ahead.
It's a pretty good one.
have you played Dishonored 2?
I have not. I've got the trilogy. I just did one play of the first game and haven't sat down for the second yet.
Gotcha. I know Trash over here is excited for the new Division DLC.
I really enjoyed the Division. They announced the Division 3, but they said it would be many years. So we'll patiently wait for that one.
Calibuds wants to know, asked if they change their CPU, do they need to re-download Windows? And Ivory said no, but you may need a BIOS update. What's the best way to do that, Paul?
To BIOS update? So what you need to do there is you'll want to get the BIOS file, most likely on a thumb drive. Is kind of how we're doing it nowadays. But before you do a BIOS update, just make sure that it's actually needed. If you don't need to do one, there's no reason to do it. Getting into the BIOS of your machine is pretty smooth and easy now, but you can still mess some stuff up. So I would say just make sure that you actually need the BIOS update first, which you can go through your motherboard manual, which whoever you got your motherboard from, whatever brand it is, they'll have that stuff on their website. And then if you do end up needing to do a BIOS update, like I said, you can download it off their website on a thumb drive. You'll put it, most likely you've got a USB port on your IO shield on your motherboard, you'll plug that into, and it'll boot from your USB drive, and it'll pretty much do itself from there. But
Nice.
Yep.
All right, get all the cabling going back through those black grommets, and you can see right here, it's a great shot. Oh, it was a great shot of the hot swap bays. These are really interesting features for this build. Paul, can you tell us a little bit about the hot swap bays, what they do?
Yeah, so this is probably
how to access them.
This is probably one of my favorite things about this case is these hot swappable bays right here. You can see Zach pulled out the tray since we are going to be using one of these for our 16 terabyte drive. But if you look closely, you can see that there's cables coming out of those bays. So that's our SATA power and our SATA datas. And we plug those into the motherboard and obviously into the power supply. And that way, if you needed to add a drive to this, like let's say this customer wants to add another 16 terabyte drive, they can just put the drive into the tray, slide it in, and it will automatically connect in. You won't have to worry about running any extra cables or anything like that. So it's probably the best useful feature about this case, in my opinion. I really like it.
Yes.
That is awesome. Yeah, I dig it. I've started using mine to get some of my old hard drives recovered. So, and to be honest, Windows 11 is fast at that stuff. It just basically says, all right, this is an old version of Windows, we'll just go ahead and crack it and go.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Now we're getting let's see, what have you got over there? Oh, you're getting that into its hot swap bay tray. Love the hot swap bay trays.
Yep, I'm installing the hard drive into the tray here.
All right. And this is a 16 terabyte hard drive, by the way, people. It is a 3.5-inch Seagate Exos. It's an enterprise HDD. So, Paul, what does that mean? Because we haven't really, I don't think, ever had an enterprise product, quality product on the show before. Okay. Hold on. We seem to be. Okay, good. So I'm still here. Paul, we're getting our your audio up. Can we hear you? Polina. Can you hear DJ Not Paul? Well, there we go. Well, they're getting it back. Jedi Smuggler, hello, welcome in. Okay, you're back. So as we were saying about the higher quality or at least more robust features.
Yeah. So this is an enterprise drive, which just means it's a little bit more robust than a non-enterprise drive. I don't have like all the technical details on the top of my head, but essentially, you know, when you get to these big drives, these are made for like designed for server storage, where you have a ton of storage. Now, something else to note is this is a 7200 RPM speed drive, which is the standard speed for smaller capacities. But once you get up to that higher terabyte, 4 terabyte, 6 terabyte and higher, it typically slows down to 5400. But this is a 7200, so this is a pretty fast, you know, relatively fast 16 terabyte hard disk drive.
Yeah.
Obviously, it's not gonna, you know, an SSD is gonna blow it out of the water for sure. It's not even, you know, but it's fast in comparison to.
But it is gonna be good though for really being able to house a lot of data for projects, etc. Yeah. Uh-oh. Paul's mic is. Uh-oh. Got it. So, can they hear me? Okay. We are definitely working on a little bit of our sound issue. So while we're doing that, Zach is still working on the wiring. As you can see, he's down there pulling out all them zip ties. I do love the fact that he wrapped all the, looks like the SATA power cables up around the upper arm of the far corner of the case.
Oh, these?
Yeah.
Those are the fan cables.
Oh, those are the fan cables.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I don't need all that length around here right now.
I dig it. I believe it is, should be back up. We hope.
Hello.
Do. Can you hear him? Okay. Now, as you can see, unlike the Fantex cases, which have the Velcro, these are a little bit different. What is a great, I would say, path of excellence for managing your cable management since you don't have a Velcro tie group?
So this case actually has these kind of posts for you to use as a tie down. So that's what this is. So it's actually a little kind of like a U shape coming off of the case, and we can run our zip tie through that U and then through around the cables to secure the cables to the case. You can see this bundle Zach has going here. I can't really move that at all. I'd have to really yank on it to move it out of place.
There we go. Yep. I dig it. Looks good. Now, is there a difference between the speeds on the upper or lower hot swap base?
No, they're the same. Ooh, thank you.
And yeah, production is on top.
We got mics everywhere now.
Yep. All right, so what do you want to open up next? We've got a bunch of fun little things to play with.
I want to open up the video card.
Let's do it. This is an incredible video card. This is an AMD Radeon RX 7900 XTX 24 gig. This is, I believe, their most powerful graphics card that they make, and it's by a group called Power Color, and it's a hellhound. So tell us a little bit about this company and their brands, because I've never experienced them before.
So Power Color is mainly known for Radeon cards. So they're common on the Radeon side of the thing. And they've been doing cards forever. They usually have a bunch of really cool designs. Wow, this packaging is really cool. I'll show you guys. I have not seen this. So This is just the top
Wow.
phone. I didn't even know this was in here. So we got a couple braces. Yeah, it's got like some bars. So this is all for GPU support. Now this is actually a really good kit, but we're going to be using the Lion Lee that comes with this case just because that's a trusted, reliable thing. But this is cool. Have you seen these before, Zach? This is pretty sick. So.
Should be a magnetic base.
Okay.
Too, so
Yeah,
it'll
so it all
stick
screws
to
into here.
a
So
solid.
this is our base. Then it's got posts. You know, so we put this here. And then we could screw in our posts and make adjustments as necessary there. So we'll leave this here, kind of a cool thing to have. But like I said, we're gonna use the Lion Lee that comes with this case.
Nice. That looks like a beastly card.
Here we go for this thing.
It's got the color modes. I forgot that's this one. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah. All right, so let's get into this. This is the first time I've seen the Hellhound.
Yeah, I'm kind of excited to see this. That's a chunky monkey right there.
It's got some nice Scotch tape sealing in it. I like it. All right, so first impressions. I like this back plate. Obviously got the Hellhound logo there. LED switch here, a couple other things. Pretty standard backplate though. Two 8-pin power connectors to power this. I really like that. So there isn't some weird dongle that we have to use. Going to the front of the part where the fans are, we've got two fans that are larger than the middle one. That's kind of a thing we see on video cards.
A couple times we've seen it, yeah.
Yeah, and if you notice, the fan blades on this middle fan are the opposite direction. So what they like to do with these video card coolers is these fans will, let's say they'll be spinning this way, this one will spin the opposite direction, and that kind of creates a vortex that allows a lot of air to go in and flow around the card. Pretty good design. I remember seeing that, I think back when the 980s came out. I think Gigabyte was doing one of those.
Yeah.
So yeah, we've got 3 display ports for our outputs and 1 HDMI. Really standard card here. I mean, this is a large card, but it's not overkill. I think it's appropriately sized for the power that it can do.
Yeah. I'm impressed with it. Looks good. I love the back plate on it. That's gonna look great. You're trying to find the stickers?
I'm just making sure that, dude, the stickers that are on the fans can be very elusive. Sometimes they're there, sometimes they're not, and I don't want to try to peel it off and actually get the actual sticker that's on the fan from the factory off. So I'm going to leave those how it is. I don't think there's any plastic coating on them right now.
We'll get that off. Now, as far as weight is concerned, you feel like is it heavier on the heavier end? So we're going to be using a sag bracket?
Yeah, this is a little bit heavier. It's nothing crazy. This, I mean, I would say this is as heavy as you think it would be. You know, you pick this up, it's appropriately sized. We will use an anti-sag bracket on this since we've already got the Lion Lee one installed.
Yeah.
And
Now,
I would recommend using one on this. I probably wouldn't go without on this card.
I have a great question coming in from that Trash Panda. Trash Panda asks, so are there any cards that are capable of 6 monitor support? Need to know for a friend.
So I'm sure that those cards exist. However, I haven't seen one. There's definitely not a mainstream card for that. But go ahead, DJ.
Oh, no, I said there are USB-C hubs. You have to go through have like I think it's a 10 gig, but it's basically a card that is a desktop port, and you plug your things in there, and then the USB-C runs your video.
I'm just going to do that
So
first.
it's still processed, I believe.
Sounds good.
I'm doing that.
With that being said, I don't know how that. I don't know whether that goes to the GPU or whether that has to pull off of the onboard graphics from the die. Like,
yeah, if your processor is on board, then you can, run a monitor off from your motherboard video outputs. We've definitely done that in like just an office workstation machine. But you're obviously not going to be, if you're gaming, you're not going to want that because it's obviously not going to be going through your video card that way.
Yeah. I missed it. There used to be a time that when you, in fact, I think one of my graphics cards actually has a USB-C on the back of it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But
yeah.
They did that for a minute and then just.
Yeah, it was one of those things that didn't gain a lot of popularity. I think it was originally designed, and we started seeing cards that had them internally as well. So you'd have like a port on the front of the GPU. It's like, what's that for? And I believe the idea was for VR purposes,
is what
which you know, hasn't gained a lot of popularity yet. We gotta wait for some Ready Player One game for that.
Sword Art Online.
Yeah. Plug me in.
Okay. Now we're gonna get these on there. Now what's really nice about this is the fact that we've got this raw, the raw design, which is red. It's a gorgeous, gorgeous case. And ironically, it's the same case that I have. It's only colored completely differently. So, and it's black. There we go.
Nice.
But this is gonna go really well with that red and black theme.
Yeah, these red and black cables are just perfect for this build. Good taste on the customer.
Now we're gonna get that anti-sag device in place. So how do anti-sag brackets function?
So essentially, whenever you're installing your video card, you've got your screws that hold it into the back of the case where the ports are. And that's really the only thing that's mounting your video card to your case and securing it down. So as cards got bigger, they started to sag a little bit and could break that PCIe slot that they're into. So how a lot of these anti-sag devices work is they're mounted to this part of the frame here. So you can see as we're installing that, it's actually screwed through the motherboard to the case. And so we'll have an arm on the bottom of this that rests. So your GPU is getting support from this side and the other side. These are the best anti-sag devices to use. This Leon Lee one's great. Gigabyte makes a good one. There's a bunch of good ones out there. The thing you want to look for is making sure that that side is actually mounted to the case. As opposed to, you know, some other one that's just screwed in on the other side.
Gotcha. Sounds good. I'm looking over here. By the way, still researching. I'm looking for what you had asked about with regards to the 6 monitors, and I'm trying to figure out where I saw that. It's kind of like a docking station, only a little bit different. I'll have to figure that one out. But definitely do some research on that. Now I'm going to be really interested because the Radeon, obviously you've got those, the clear fans, you know those are going to light up. Mm-hmm. So I'm wondering how much light that is going to project down while we've got the bottom fans projecting up. It's going to make a nice little area right there.
Mm-hmm.
And the other thing about this board that the devs love is the button. And we didn't get a chance to talk about that, but you could point that out when you get a chance.
Here,
yeah, we're gonna get our, once we get this screwed down, we can show you the button there. It's a quick release button that will release the PCIe clip holding the card in place. When you get a big card like this, it can be hard to reach down and push that clip down, so the button's really nice to have.
We got Winter in the house. What's going on, buddy? Good to see you, man.
Okay.
Okay.
Cable mods.
Cable mods. I've got GPU right here, Zach. 24 pin and CPU.
PCIe.
Still plugging those big boys in.
It really is nice that these combs come pre-installed.
This only has
'cause you used
two
to have-
8 pins. That's so nice.
Right?
There are others that don't. Like you have to put those combs on yourself.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the
Is that a
combs
difficult thing to do?
It's not difficult. It's just tedious because you'll think you got it on right, and you'll get to the end. You're like, oh, I got an extra cable, and you're like, oh, I missed a notch.
Whichever one.
CPUs.
That always sucks.
Yeah, but no, it ain't hard. It just takes a little bit of time. And this is one of the good things about having a modular power supply that we always talk about. You can see we're running our power cables right now without even having our power supply installed in the system. So these are our video card cables, and then Zach's plugging in the CPU power right now. So I'll go ahead and get our power supply out.
Yeah, this big one. This is a nice one. What we're using for a power supply with this is a 1600 watt EVGA P2 series. This is basically like a kettle bell.
I was just gonna say that. It's like, this is a good kettlebell workout. You know, it's
Right.
crazy if your power supply box has a handle, carrying handle.
Well, and it's got a strong handle. Like, it's not even like, that's something you find on a shelf, not hanging on a wall.
Yeah, no, this will rip out of the wall.
Say goodbye to your sheetrock.
Yeah.
So now this is a big, this is a big power supply. I went with a 1300 for mine. This is a 1600. So what are some of the benefits of using a power supply this big? And this is also a 80 plus platinum, by the way. Platinum.
So the biggest benefit, in my opinion, for having a power supply this large is going to be, you're never going to have to buy another power supply. I mean, obviously this thing will go bad at some point. This is an EVGA, extremely reliable. This thing's going to last 10 years or even more. And it being a 1600 watt, you know, you could upgrade your system as much as you want. This is going to be able to supply enough power. But look at this thing. This is big.
That is a monster.
A
Let's see how many
baby.
ports we've got on that. Because I would imagine you can plug a lot of things into this. Look
I forgot that
oh
that
my
was-
gosh. That is more than average, right? Or am I just nuts?
Yeah, this is a little bit more than average. Basically, you know, we've got all these ports here now. There's no situation that I've ever seen where all of these would be used, but it's nice to have them there in case you need it. Got an eco mode here for your to keep your fan slowed down, but yep, just very, very large. It's funny, we
There
were
we
talking
go.
last stream. George had mentioned that 1000 watt we used last stream was really small, and this is what we were referring to. 1000 watt used to be this size, but 1000 watts have obviously come down in size, but this is a good comparison as to what those used to look like.
Yeah. That's wild. That is absolutely wild. So that's going to be pushing a lot of air, which is great because it's going to have its own separate venting, both for its intake and its exhaust. It's one of the really nice things about the EVGAs, and of course we love EVGA across the board. Now, as far as ventilation is concerned, I think you saw at that other angle that there's feet on either end of this case, so there's a nice little gap underneath for you to be able to get that air, because you're going to need a lot of air to come up from the bottom to cool not just your graphics card, but then cool the air in the case so it can get exhausted.
I messed up.
Paul, so what are some best practices for how and where to put your PC so that you can make sure you're not only keeping it clean, but you're also keeping it cool?
Yeah, so the biggest thing is just have it on a hard surface if you've got it on the ground. Don't set your PC on some shag carpet where it's going to suck up that carpet and prevent, you know, good airflow coming through. So really, if you've got that, if you've got thick carpet or something that's going to take up this gap, you know, just put a piece of wood down, a piece of plastic. If you want to get real fancy with it, you can use like a large storage bin lid.
Thank you.
You know, a bunch of different options, but just something that's a hard surface for it to sit on so that that surface will compress the carpet and leave you with this couple-inch gap so that you get good airflow in.
Trash Panda asks, what would you say is the biggest struggle building a full tower case versus a micro tower case or even a mid tower?
So a full tower case is actually the easier build to use as opposed to a micro or an ITX build. And the reason for that is the cable management, most likely. So in an ITX build, you've got a lot smaller box to manage the same amount of cables going through. That's why it's more difficult. So we prefer building in ATX chassis like this one. A lot of room to work with is why.
Nice.
Okay, let's do elbow because that's on the bottom.
Right. That's a lot of cable right there. I'm also like, we're also missing a little bit of space back there because that power supply is just massive. During the critics in the house, what's up? Right? It's over 9,000. Let's see here. We got another question. So Sweet Chuck asks, aside from cost and footprint, are there any other disadvantages to having a way overpowered power supply?
Yeah, it's a good question. So not really. Like you said, the cost is really the biggest thing. Obviously, the higher wattage you go, the more expensive it's going to be for the power supply itself. But yeah, I mean, there's not really a disadvantage to having one other than that.
Nice. I mean, I have a 1300 in mind, which is definitely more than I need, but it also gives me an opportunity for expansion. I know I've got enough power if I've got a multitude of things plugged in via USB-C.
Yeah. Get your Bitcoin
so I mean, and those are
really
things to
well
consider.
that way, you know.
If you want fast charging for your gear, then you definitely want to make sure you've got a heavy USB-C port. Because there are some that are designed just for fast charging. Is that correct?
Some USB-C ports?
Yeah.
Yeah, there are.
I do love the little bitty combs that we just saw.
Yeah, the combs.
I'll be honest, when I first saw Zach plugging that into the graphics card, what I thought I saw was zip ties around. I thought, okay, maybe they just came with combs for the big piece, but no, those are just little bitty combs. All the way around. Let's see here. What's up, Dorian? How are you? Trash Bandit says that my PC only needs 750 watts and I have a 1600 in it. Well.
There you go.
There's always room to grow.
Yeah.
All right, getting those zip ties in there. I'm really loving how this is going to look, especially that infinity mirror. Those things light up so well.
Oh yeah. This board with the screen on there.
Yeah. Right, creepy old man 02 says this makes me feel old. Parts used to just be socket. You're not wrong. I am right up there with you, dude.
Name checks out.
Okay. And
remember the 386 and the 486 processors in the beginning, the IBMs, way back in the day. Like that's Tandy level era. Man, this is a moment when I miss Doc Chaos. Okay. He always remembered all the great facts about all the old gear.
Yeah.
Raven, hello. Welcome in. You outie, Necro? All right, man. Have a good one. Cheers. Good to see you again.
Okay.
Okay.
I want. There's that one right there.
Let's see here. Toothpick Fix says pops his knees remembering setting IO ports. Yes. Yes, that is also true.
That was making me chuckle right there.
I remember the days of dumpster diving for electronics and not having to worry about stepping on something dangerous as a kid in the 90s. Right? Why did that have to change? Yeah. Well, and goodbye, Raven. Good Lord. You just can't take people somewhere. Let's see here.
Oh, genius.
Greg says my old PC has 1 and 2 CD drives. I have dual in my upstairs Windows 7 XP and 7 machines are both they both have dual disk drives in them because I would use them for copying CDs and that I was using for DJing so that I had backup copies because I never took the original disc with me to a show. I made copies and put them behind the actual jacket sleeve so that in the event it got scratched, destroyed, or lost, I had the original that I could go make another copy of.
Okay, I like that. That's really nice.
That looks good.
Okay. Oh, that's gonna be so pretty.
Now, one of the interesting things about this build that I thought was, are we doing a full 10 fans?
Yes, we are.
Okay, good. The reason I was asking is because we hadn't pulled those panels off, and I was going to ask how concerned should we be about the heat produced, because we've got this monster of a power supply, this incredibly powerful graphics card.
It's in that sweet 3/4 case. The power supply is not
Yep.
going to be ooking any of its juices anywhere.
Creepy old man says, why organization is true nerd porn. That's hilarious. You don't love Vista? Yeah, nobody loves Vista. Vista's about as useful as Millennium.
Hey, y'all can go home now.
Windows 8, baby. The goat.
Yeah.
But so my Windows 7 PC that I ended up getting was capable of going to Windows 8. I upgraded it to Windows 8, and it is stuck in a permanent boot loop. I can't get it to stop. I have no idea how to fix it.
Need that 8.1.
No, I just need to go back to 7, or just pull the drives and get everything off. That's what I'm honestly thinking about doing, is just pulling the drives and getting everything off, and just putting it all in here.
Looks good. Oh, yes.
So HDD are still in fashion, but SDDs aren't. I don't mean the M.2s, by the way. I think just for size purposes, you can only go so big with an M.2, but an SSD, I think you can get. What's the largest size you can get for an SSD there, Paul?
So largest size for like a 2.5-inch SSD, I'm really not sure. They kind of came and went real quick. They're definitely still an option, still available everywhere you can buy them, but you can probably get pretty up there on them because there's a lot of surface area to store those chips. But I mean, I can't. The biggest one that I've probably used is a 2 terabyte, and I know that there's bigger than those. Yeah, 2.5 inches were awesome when they came out, and then M.2s were even better, and it just kind of replaced the 2.5 inch, honestly.
Wow, you can get PCIe SSDs that are larger.
Yeah.
I never even heard of a PCIe SSD.
Yeah, so those were out before 2.5 inches were, honestly. You could have a PCIe SSD. We had some from...
super fast, man.
Yeah, what was it? Oz something? OZ? I think it was that we had. Never, they didn't seem to be reliable in the ones that we had. This was so many years ago, though. Like I said, this was before 2.5 inches were a thing. So, not a bad idea, but it just never really caught on.
Interesting. Remember LimeWire? Yes, it was between that and Pirate Bay, that was the fastest way to get a virus right to your PC. Because reasons. Can we go back to DOS 6.22? Yeah, with X-Tree Gold as your controller.
Those use Molex.
So, okay.
But I don't think Cable Mod does the floppy disk.
No.
If they had the floppy on there, then we could just use it. Yeah, that one would be perfect.
Toothpick mentions I was DOS until Windows 95, all because I wanted to play Magic on the PC.
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh yeah. Magic the Gathering?
Yeah.
Let's go.
This is a SATA port.
We are all about the Magic the Gathering here.
Yeah. Yep. Absolutely. I was working at
That's fine.
see, I was working at Adobe
It's fine.
back in 2004, 5, way back in the day. Yeah, XP any day. Honestly, XP I knew how to go inside and out of. I knew how to fix line code. That operating system was wicked.
Let's do that.
7 was stable. I mean, once you got Service Pack 3, XP was fine. 7 was very stable, and
7 was
a little
my
bit
favorite.
Same.
It was a little more self-sufficient. There
I do
wasn't
like
enough. There wasn't as much
Yeah.
My
to
favorite as well.
fix. Yeah.
You can make
7
your
was
Windows
great.
11 look like XP. You can do it.
Yeah. Yep. I will say, as much as I was, afraid of some change, the Windows 11 is, once I got used to how it's laid out, it's extraordinary. I just have to figure out how to turn my UEFI, IEFU, what's it called? The thing?
Your GUI?
No, it's EUFI. There's a
UEFI?
boot. UEFI. There we go. On my streaming machine, I have to be able to turn that, I think, on. so that I can upgrade to 10. I mean, upgrade from 10 to 11, but I do not know how to do that.
Okay, I like that. I like that. I like
Yeah,
that.
Toothpick, you are in good company. Looking at
Definitely.
the reigning champ of the Pioneer League. I won my first Pioneer League this week. Made it to top 8 and won it all.
And it wasn't because I was there losing.
Yeah. It only took 2.5 years of playing to win one.
Oh,
that was great.
Awesome.
Is it Phoenix? That's what I was using. It was pretty good.
Okay. Those there.
Trash Panda. We could probably show you a little bit in Discord after the show, but there's a couple like Windows settings you can change. Google can help you too, if you want to look it up now.
I'm just gonna do these for the time being.
Okay, well, here's the thing. The largest capacity SSD as of August of this year is 5 years old, and it is a 100 terabyte solid state drive from a company named Nimbus.
The Nimbus 2000.
Yeah.
Right? That's what I was gonna say, and I thought maybe I shouldn't.
I was thinking about a yellow cloud, you know.
Yeah. Let's see. We got DJ Smart Bomb. I have 2 AMD systems, a 3700X with a 6600 XT and a 5800X with a 7900 XT for my son and myself respectively. I'm going Ryzen 7000 next year. Good call.
Very nice. Very nice. I'd recommend the 7800. But if you got the budget and you want to go bigger, do it.
Geez, these fans look so sleek. They just do. Now we're gonna have, how many are we having going in and how many are we having come out?
So we're going to have 6 intakes coming in, which will leave us 4 exhausts going out.
Nice. Let's see here. Yeah, Trash Panda, I hear you on that one. Trash Panda says I have 4 PCs in my house. One is a laptop, though.
Gamer.
Jeez. I have 2, 3, 4. I have 7, 2 of which are laptops. 8 if you count the laptop that had issues. And yeah, no, it's a wonder of networking nightmares. Let's see, Human Proxy in the house. What's going on, dude? Let's see here. How do you feel about the PCIe SSD expandables? Oh, I have one of those. I don't use it, but I have one.
I think it's very cool to have, but I've yet to see one used. So, great idea, and you know, could be useful in certain situations. But in our years of building, I've never had a good use for one. So, you know.
What's up, Electric Llama? Thank you so much for the energy. Echo Kev, I'm thinking of upgrading my PC. Should I go from a 3060 Ti to 4070 or to a 5600X? Or from a 5600X to a 5800X 3D? Ooh, good question.
So I would go 4070 with the 5800X 3D, if that's a choice.
Here we go.
That's what I would go with. Okay. That is a great pairing.
You're only doing one? Yeah. So should
only doing one.
Kev, should Kev upgrade the graphics card from the 3060 to the 4070 or upgrade the 5600X to a 5800X 3D?
Okay. So this is a little bit tougher. However, that 5600X is a great processor. Obviously, the 5800X 3D is a solid one as well. However, the games that I play, and I feel like most games, the video card is more important, so I would go with the 4070.
Yeah. Creepy Old Man asks, how much trouble is thermal paste these days? Actually, not that much, guys.
Yeah, really easy. It comes in these syringes. Most AIOs, like the one we used here, come with it either pre-installed or you get a small little syringe. I think we've got a couple of them over here to show you. So this right here, we can go to our overhead real quick too. So they might give you a tiny little syringe of thermal paste there, but yep, still Thermal paste is same as it's always been. I mean, it's definitely improved over time to give you better temperatures, but same thing. Now the thermal pads are used on like the M.2 heat sinks that we installed. So that's where you really get into that, but still definitely only thermal paste for CPUs.
Let's see here. You've got me now searching and thinking, trying to figure out, oh, wow. So the largest M.2 drive that you can actually get is an 8 terabyte. But at the same time, if you use one of the PCIe M.2 expanders, how many can you fit on an M.2 expander? Like 5?
It depends on the one, but I think the first one that I saw is 4, but I think they come from 3 to 5.
You gotta look up the Sabrent X21.
The Saturn?
God dang.
Sabrent. S-A-B-R-E-N-T.
Sabrent. Okay, let me do that. Sabrent.
It's a PCIe expansion slot that houses like 20 something NVMe's.
It's a Sabrent what?
X21, I believe.
Is that a Tyranid tattoo on your arm, Zach? Okay. The creepy
Apex
old man
X21
was asking.
Destroyer card. Holy God. This thing is wild.
Yeah, it's kind of cool.
Hell no.
It's really expensive. It's kind of cool. It's like, what do you want? Do you want to have multiple NVMe's with all of your movies, multiple NVMe's with all of your photos, all of your Steam games? It's just pricey because you have to.
The
also
Destroyer
buy
is
the
formed
drives.
of already existing parts, namely Apex Solutions' own X21 NVMe mounting platform card, and 21 of Sabrent's Rocket 4 Plus SSD 8 terabyte NVMe 4.0 Gen 4 M.2 internal SSDs. 21. Now, if you just,
It's a fast cookie.
a single Apex 21 card will set you back $2,800, and the 8 terabyte 4 Plus is a grand of $1,500. The grand total comes to a whopping $25,000. So,
For storage.
I mean,
Cash.
I'm just blown away by that.
Come on, Hayden. Where's your server now?
Away. Handling it to a raging wow. Do you all ever have a CLX game night in that room with the boys? Good question.
It's been a minute, but yep, we used to. We used to do some streaming up here too, so yeah. This room does get used, though. We've got a lot of games kind of on all the PCs behind us. Zach will be up here playing. What is it, one more dungeon? Or
One more dungeon.
One more
It's
dungeon?
so good.
Yep.
I'm terrible at it, but I
Yep.
love it.
I was doing WoW Hardcore on this one right behind us, but I died.
That is funny. Yeah, that is. Jedi Smuggler mentions that's almost the same price as my car loan.
Yep. Dude, imagine being able to buy that and then install that into like a Tesla.
Oh my lord. A friend of mine actually just modded his Tesla because it comes with all the software ready to go, but it's locked behind a firewall. So
Have you seen like the company
he's a
that
programmer
turns them
and
into
he went in
Batmobiles?
and unlocked all of the features. Wait, what? I heard Batmobile.
There's
You got
a
my
there's a company that is like turning Teslas into like they're putting a wide body kit, slamming them down,
Wow.
murdering them out. Like they look pretty
Oh,
pretty
dude,
corny.
that's wicked.
And
those things are
Elon's
so
like, oh, it's
fast
fine.
off the line, it's ridiculous.
Snag those last three.
3 fans.
The final trio.
My sister took her car into the dealership just for some like oil change and standard maintenance, and they gave her a loaner card, and they gave her one of those brand new Mercedes electric vehicles. It's like a $120,000 car. But they were like, here, go drive this thing around for the day.
That's an upsell.
Yeah,
That's
they
an
sent me-
upsell shop right
they sent
there.
me pictures. I was like, did you buy that? Like, no. It's like, I bet it's fast. She was like, it is insanely fast.
So, speaking of vehicular issues, as I was coming back from downtown the other day, in Kevin's car, Kevin's Lexus, the battery light came on, and I was thinking, what the hell? And then I heard the whine, and the AC light starts blinking, and I'm thinking, oh God, the alternator belt is going out. So I get home, tell him about it. He's like, yeah. So he goes to work the next day and then heads to the store. And as he comes back, because he always backs up into the driveway, right?
Okay.
I'm standing by the door because the dogs heard him down at the end of the block, and I watched him just kind of coast up just past the driveway and stop, and the entire car just goes dark.
Oh, no.
I'm like, bro,
Made
did
it.
you just kill your car in front of the house? What? He's like, I can't believe I actually made it. I'm so glad it started.
It's the start of a Call of Duty mission, you know?
Yeah.
Mercedes
Yeah, and
going
then he
dark.
Yeah.
But then he turned his key on, the lights came on, but it just went to click it and nothing would happen. I'm like, dude. Now granted, this is an 06 RX 330, I think. And like that car has lasted, it was like a $40,000 car that lasted for what? 17 years? I think I did the math right on that. I had an alternator go out once in the middle of a blizzard, and I had to figure out how to fix and replace it on my own. Oh my God. It was wild. It was one of the most insane experiences I've ever had. It was with my Volvo 240, and those cars are just rock solid.
That's what I like
And they
about
got-
living in
you got-
Houston.
You
Alternator,
got
or the,
plenty of...
yeah.
Oh, what?
The starter went out on my car. I was just like, I'll just ride my bike to work. It's winter time. It's 55 degrees outside.
Yeah.
I think I'll be okay.
Dorian, yes, I was. It happened on Christmas Eve, ironically, and so they couldn't tow me back to where I was going because it was over 100 miles away. Or over 50 miles away, but they could, something like that, but they could tow me back to up into Portland. So I went to a friend's house because they were actually home and said, hey, this is what's happening. Got on Craigslist and put my thing in there, like, hey, anybody, I could use an alternator. Here's what's happening. Here's where I'm stuck. Here's where I live. And here's where I am. And this guy and his son came and brought over a manual and an alternator with a spare. He said, yeah, I work on these all the time. If we didn't have, family stuff going on, I would just help you put it in right now. But he gave me some tips and hints, and I spent Christmas Day, and it was probably 12 degrees outside. So I would work outside on it as much as I could until I couldn't feel my hands. Then I would run back inside and sit in front of a space heater, warm back up, warm the gloves up, get them back on, run back outside, and keep working on it. Finally got it up and running and working.
There you go.
Yeah.
I guess I can try it.
Yeah, what a Christmas experience for real. Trash Panda mentions that I lived in Sugarland District of Houston and would walk from my house to the airport if my car would die. And I worked swing and it would be like 55 degrees at 3 a.m. Wow. Wow. That's a nice temperature. All right, we're getting that all set up. So
Now,
while we're getting that fixed, what I would love to do, well, I don't know if we're at that point yet, but so now we're getting the fans hooked in. So, Zach, you have a great way of hooking up your fans so that it's as organized as possible and as easy to troubleshoot as possible. What is that process?
Perfect.
yeah, so like we can really see it on the backside with this cable mod kit. So essentially I do the case lines first and get those organized out. And then I like to come in and do my power lines and keep those nice and tight. And then I'll come in and put all of my fans. I like having my fans on top because most of the majority of troubleshooting will have to, will more likely be a fan, either not color or not spin. And it's a lot easier to just work with it if it's up on top. And then the way I tie up my power cables is enough to where there's a little bit of slack on the cable so that if we need to troubleshoot the graphics card or the 24-pin or anything, we've got enough room to still be able to undo those, take it out, reseat it if need be. So just kind of makes it overall easier to troubleshoot any issues if any issue does come up.
Nice, which is smart, really smart, because every now and then you'll get that one fan that's just gets moved or bumped while you're putting on your back panel. Yeah. Not gonna lie, this guy is flying through this build. Yes, human proxy.
Thank you.
That is true.
This is a big build for sure.
This is one of our more labor-intensive builds. Anytime you got 10 fans, that's obviously a lot of fan wires. But on top of that, the cable mod kit also adds some as well. These come out looking really good.
What really gets you is the power supply. Mm-hmm. So if you heard me, I did mess up and I installed it late. What happens is so right here is a spot for tie down. Well, it's at least an inch into the power supply, so I only get one channel to use. And installing, I call them mega power supplies. Installing mega power supplies first is very important. Like, yes, you do have to cope with the weight of moving this system around, but it's a lot easier to tie it up with it in the way than do a tie up and have to redo the whole tie up because you have it set 1 inch to the right or left. So that's where big power supplies, it pays off to install earlier. Okay, let's do this.
We've got a lot of people who are really impressed with the, by the way, yes, the GPU is ARGB as well. As far as builds go, would you say your average build time, or what's the average build time of the builders, Paul?
So it obviously depends on the complexity of the build, but I would say roughly an hour. We've got some builds that are a little bit more basic that, Hayden can knock out in 30 minutes, 45 minutes, which is pretty impressive. So I'd say anywhere from that 45 minutes to an hour and a half is a good window. There's been times where I've been like, Hayden, we need this thing right now. Can you do it in 20 minutes? We got to get this thing burning in tonight. He's like, I'll see. And then he knocks it out. It's pretty impressive.
It's awesome. I was so jazzed. It was really fun getting to watch at DreamHack Dallas when Zach just starts pulling things out of boxes and then setting and prepping, and you got Hayden over there just ripping through things, trying not to stress out over other people's cable management.
That was like the the CLX pit crew right there, the mobile pit crew.
It truly was, dude. It was wild to get to watch firsthand. And especially, they were doing it basically in the dark.
Yeah, those were curveballs left
minimal,
and right.
Minimal lighting. Everybody had their phone, phone flashlights.
We had no idea what we were getting into either. We were doing free upgrades to some people's systems down at the free play at DreamHack. And so we, pick somebody and have no idea what we were getting into. So we had to do a lot of custom fabrication with minimal tools and very minimal light. But it was a fun experience, that's for sure.
Yeah. Definitely. Human proxies. This is just for Facebook and web surfing as well, right? I mean, I feel like you could do that, but you might also be able to do a few other things as well.
Okay, all you here, please.
So one cool thing you can see right there from that previous view is the that top vent right there, as you can see, where the radiator is, and then there's going to be an actual metal dust guard that's going to be going over the top, and this thing is surrounded by those guards. How do those work?
Yes, these are just magnetic dust filters, so they just are cut out to cover the area of the radiator. So you just pop them off and throw them back on. I'm sure we got one around here somewhere. I'll show y'all real quick. Alright, so around all of our intakes on our case, we've got these dust filters. So this is all it is. It's a mesh filter. It's magnetic. I'm not going to stick this on exactly where it goes because I don't want to interfere with Zach, but they just slap on like that. And so when you need to clean them, you just pull the panels off, pull this off, wipe it down, rinse it off, whatever you want to do, and slap it back on there. Very easy.
Now,
Ouch.
yeah, first of all, Trash Pendants like said, yeah, for DJ, it's the equivalent of walking from Tiger to St. John's in Portland. Yeah, that is a no. I don't ever want to do that. TV Teravara asks a good question. Why not install the graphics card to show the RGB fans on the windowed side?
So like a vertical mount, I think is what you're referring to. So vertical mount is not something that we standard do here. It is something we can do if you just let us know you want it requested that way. And as long as the case is compatible, we can do that. So this case does have some options for a vertical mount. This card, however, is really thick, so we'd have to really get into it to see where our riser card would go, so that when it was vertical, the fans wouldn't be touching the side panel.
Yeah. Yeah, the mesh filters really do help. I have had this for months, and I have not had to dust it at all because once a positive pressure system, it's a very positive pressure system. I got 13 fans. We've got what? 3, 6, 9 fans blowing in and 4 fans blowing out. So very well filtered. The Ouija board you guys built was sick as hell. Yes, I completely agree, Toothpick. Absolutely.
Yeah, thank you. That case is available if you do end up ordering a build through us and you want that design on your case, we can do it.
Yes. Human Proxy asks, have you ever worked with a 3D printed case?
I haven't. Yeah.
I do 3D models. Does that count?
Trash Panda asks, would a riser card affect performance, or is it so minute that you would never notice?
I would say it's so minute you wouldn't notice. Now you want to make sure you're getting the right riser card that has power to all 16 pins. Because if you get an 8-pin riser card that fits in a 16 slot, then you would notice some performance decrease. But yeah, just make sure it's a a full power riser card.
And for those that are wondering, like that, what they're talking about is, you see where those fans are on mine? That's where they would put the graphics card instead. And then, now would that impede the airflow? Since you can't use that as an intake any longer.
Right, so you would have to move those fans around. But in this case, you can actually put it right kind of where this card is now and just have it set vertically. With the right hardware.
Oh, I see what you mean. Not putting it in the fan slots, but instead putting... Gotcha. Yep. That makes a lot of sense. It does make sense. I get it. Good. Well, figure it out eventually.
No, we definitely put it where you're talking about too, DJ. That was on our Nook build, so.
Yeah, yeah. Man, we haven't done a Hawthorne in a minute.
Please no. I don't know if they're going to stay around.
Pretty sure.
They're a genius idea.
Pretty sure the Nook is over.
Yeah.
Well, it's not the Nook is over. They're just no longer making them. Now they're third partying them.
Okay. I want...
We'll be able to get it, just not directly from Intel. So I see a maneuvering thing. Oh, wow. Yeah, that is definitely going to be a...
There's a lot of cables going on here. This is why when we were talking about in the previous shows, those fans that clip together. This is why that is a benefit right here. So you can see those are the fan cables there. So he's got 10 separate fan cables to go through.
Oh, come on. Yep. There we go.
Alrighty. Yeah, this is wild because you got it's just that. I did not anticipate that 1600, although I don't understand why. That 1600 as being so big, but it really does take up a lot of space that is great for, cable real estate.
It does, yeah.
This 16 barely fits in a Evo. Their next smallest case, because of the way the radiator can sit in it, all of those cables are at a pure 90 degree coming out of the power supply because there is no room for it. So that's usually what happens, is you have to kind of finagle If you can't see where it needs to be, just cut zip ties and
Perp Ghost
redo it.
YouTube. Perp Ghost YT says, last year I got a good quality PC from y'all and it's amazing. Added better RAM and installed a better GPU since then. Still a fantastic PC. Glad to hear you're still loving it.
Yeah. That's great to hear, Perm Ghost. Thanks for being here and letting us know. We always like to hear that.
Trash is saying that the cable management is so nice. Creepy Old Man asks, does your wiring come with a standard sleeve?
So it'll depend on your power supply for your wiring. So if you got each power supply maker, they'll put different sleeves on them or non-sleeves. Pretty much everything now is at least either sleeved or has like some nice black braiding around it, so you don't have like the ketchup and mustard cables that we all used to use back in the day. Those are pretty much gone.
Yeah. Greg Wibbs asks, is the top the best place for an AIO?
Most of the time, yeah. Obviously, depending on your case design, but 99% of the time, you want your AIO at the top of the case, or at least above the pump.
Yeah.
There's some cases, where that's not an option, and that's okay too. It's not something to, lose sleep over or anything like that. But if you can put it in the top of the case, it's a good place to put it.
Mm-hmm. And if you like tinkering
mine's
and testing numbers, you can
Yeah.
put it in, run a test, write those numbers down, do a little modification and another test, and see what you get.
Here we go. God, this thing is good.
Ooh.
Okay.
Mischief managed.
Yes, right?
Yeah,
I
right.
kind of just want to see if this pops on real
Yeah,
quick,
that
because
sounds
that's
good.
going to be the big thing.
So while you're trying to get that on, I want to get something else on. I want to get into a conversation about how you, in the viewer viewing us, can get your hands on one of our amazing PCs. At CLXgaming.com, we try and make it as easy as possible for you to be able to get not just the build of your dreams, but also the build that you need. So whether you're choosing an AMD or Intel build, whether you're choosing a full size or a compact, you can make all of those choices right here, and you don't have to worry about making a mistake. Oops, lots of noise. You can, if you choose something that's wrong, say you choose the wrong motherboard with the wrong processor, it'll tell you, hey, solve conflict. It's going to say, okay, you picked an Intel processor but a AMD board. So you can either choose one of these AMD processors, or you're going to have to choose one of these Intel boards. And once you've made that choice and made that decision, it goes back to green and you're ready to go. It goes back all compatible. And we've got tons of different options, from overclocking in our foundry area. We've also got peripherals such as graphics cards, streaming items such as Beacon Mix Creates and the Beacon mic. You can choose open loop, closed loop. We got closed, networking gear, controllers, you name it. We've got it. We've become your one-stop shopping center for all things PC. Now, if that seems a little too stressful, don't worry. We've got dozens of ready-to-ship models that are already tested, already packaged up, and ready to go to a new home, and you can find something that is going to be immediately shipped to you right here on our site. So, for all the things that you might need in gaming, or just in a PC in general, head on over to CLXgaming.com and get your gear today.
Cool.
All righty. Did you get the back on?
Yes.
Yep. Took
Barely.
two of us.
All righty. So let's see here.
Magnetic filter.
I know some people have them on the fan, with the fan on the rear exit fan. What is the warranty period for one of your computers? It comes with lifetime labor and technical support, 1 year standard parts. Now you can get up to a 3 year. So
Yep, you can upgrade to a 2-year or a 3-year option if you're interested in that, but everything does come standard with that 1 year and lifetime labor and tech support.
How many outputs for the GPU? I believe it's 4.
Yes, 4. It's got 3 DisplayPort and 1 HDMI.
Yep.
When did DisplayPort take over HDMI?
So I first started using it probably 4 or 5 years ago when I got my first 2K 144 hertz monitor.
Okay. It just seems like
So,
that
I'll be
everything
around
now,
that.
it used to be like 3 HDMIs and 1 DisplayPort, and now it's the reverse of that.
Yep.
Yeah. When you started getting the more robust and higher performing monitors, you really had to pump some bandwidth through there, and HDMI can only handle so much. Even if it's HDMI 2.1, it still, yeah. Let's see here. How does your site handle compatibility issues? So that was what's on the website that we just showed.
Like a boss. That's how.
You'll see that little green, as you're clicking things, the little green button that'll say add to cart once you're finished with your build will flip to yellow and say resolve conflict. And you'll click that, and then it'll tell you, all right, these things, they're not going to work together. So you're going to have to pick one of these things that works with this, or pick one of these things that work with this.
Yeah, buddy.
It is basically foolproof. Wow, I love the look of this case. It's so freaking rad.
Mm-hmm. Honestly, this thing looks pretty,
love it.
Pretty clean right now.
You like that angle, Jason?
Yeah, you're good. All right, so.
Yeah, it's so. And while you're cleaning that the glass right there, Paul, I mentioned something earlier about testing. So talk to us about where this PC is going to go before it's going to be sent out to Gary in Arizona.
Yeah, so this machine, like everything else we build here, once it powers on, it goes to our testing and integration department. So there's a couple things we do there, but the first thing is we get into the BIOS. We'll make sure our RAM speed is set correctly. All of our storage devices are showing up. So our M.2s, 2.5 inch, 3.5 inch drives, and then maybe mess with a couple other settings on there depending on the configuration. Then after that, we'll actually load the operating system. If you picked any games off the website to be downloaded on your machine, that's where we'll do that. If you didn't pick any games, you just get a fresh install of Windows. We don't put any bloatware on our system. You're not going to boot this thing up and have 20 different antivirus softwares pinging you to do stuff. It's just going to be a fresh install if that's all you want. So after we do that and get everything loaded on there, we put the system through a 12-hour burn-in or a stress test. So the main thing we use for that is 3D Mark, but there are a couple other benchmarking softwares we use. And basically what that allows us to do is make sure that you get a solid, stable machine at your door.
Let's see here. OMG Beast, hey, listen, you know, we've got all sorts of builds available. Bessels asks the question, if I buy a PC, can I opt to have it built on stream? That is an Ivory question.
It's something we are working on for sure, and yeah, Ivory can give you a better answer. But if you do end up doing it, you know, let us know that you want it, and you know, most likely if we can work it in, we will.
Yeah,
but
we love being able to build it right in front of you. Yeah.
Alrighty, well I think we're good to go.
All right, this is the first tech channel that you followed, Creepy Old Man. Hey, listen, welcome, man. We do 2 shows a week. It's great. We honestly, it's relaxing. Okay, so now it's the moment of truth. This is for Gary in Arizona.
These are the Thermaltake fans, so they do take a sec to kick on. So we should see
this
them
thing red
all.
is gonna look wicked.
Boom.
Whoa!
There you go.
Damn!
Surprise!
It looks so good.
Yeah.
That looks great.
thinking?
Absolutely incredible.
Yeah,
Look at that
yeah.
thing. And of course, you can flip that all over to red, and it's incredible. Look at the way the lights shine. I dig it. It looks wonderful. So let's go back over one more time what's inside this amazing PC for Gary in Arizona. This is a specialized CLX Ra build. It's an O11 by Leon Lee case. It has got an AMD Ryzen 7950X 3D processor mounted on an Asus ROG Crosshair X670E Hero motherboard. It has 64 gigs of Corsair DDR5 6000 RAM along with an AMD Radeon RX 7900 XTX graphics card. Your operating system is going to be installed in the 4TB Seagate FireCuda 530 M.2, and the secondary storage will actually be a 16TB 3.5-inch Seagate Exos Enterprise HDD. Your processor is going to be cooled by the Fantex Glacier 1360 RGB AIO, and of course, in addition to 10 Thermaltake ring fans. Absolutely incredible, so beautiful, and it's all being powered by a 1600-watt EVGA P2 series 80 plus platinum PSU, along with your cable sleeves, and I believe there's also going to be the addition of a Creative Sound Blaster later on. So there we go. Congratulations to Gary in Arizona. We'll get that all tested and sent right out to you. So with that being said, in a moment we're going to take a break, and when we come back, you're going to get to spend the afternoon with Zach as Zach builds more cool stuff. Look at that right over there. It's a beautiful, it's another O11, another beautiful O11.
Silver.
So it's silver. There we go. It's the silver one. That's going to be a lot of fun to take a look at. So our show happens every Tuesday and Thursday, starting at 11 a.m. Pacific, 2 Eastern. Tuesdays, we are primarily focused on Kick, and on Thursdays, we're going to be focused on Twitch, but we're going to be multi-streaming as well, so pick and choose your place of awesomeness. With that being said, you can find out more about everything going on with CLX Gaming by following CLX Gaming on YouTube, TikTok, Twitter, Instagram, Threads. You can also jump into our Discord and experience a wonderful community of like-minded PC and gaming enthusiasts by going to discord.gg/CLX Gaming. So with that said, I think we are good to go. So I will see you all next Thursday. On behalf of Kyle and Jason in production, Paul and Zach, I'm DJ Blue PDX. Don't go away. We've got more coming up after the break. We'll be right back.
Bye.
Bye.